So I'm sitting here with Ijoma Praise Agu. Do I pronounce your name right?
Perfect. Like, I'm so surprised you got
really?
it. I usually get Iyoma. I'm like, no, it's Ijoma.
Ijoma.
But you did great.
Thanks. I practiced.
Good.
So you're here for the Septimius Awards,
Yes,
of course. We'll talk about that later. But first, is it your first time in the Netherlands?
No. I've filmed here. I've lived here with my family at some point in 2019. Yeah. And I've been here like 6 times.
So we can do this whole interview in Dutch then?
No. The only thing I know in Dutch is Dankevel and I don't know what else.
Well, that sounded pretty good. So.
It did?
Yeah. You did a
My
good
daughter
job.
will be proud of me because I'm so bad with languages.
Yeah, cool. But where did you live in the Netherlands?
So I had done Amsterdam a bit and then Antwerpen in Belgium majorly. Yeah.
So did you film any movies here?
Yes, I did. It's a film called 10 Songs for Charity. Yes.
So, but you're not here for that movie?
No, I'm here for Swallow.
Yeah. So can you tell me a bit about the movie? What is it? What's the story?
Swallow is a film set in the 80s, just showing you how Nigeria was. Nigeria, and when I say Nigeria, I mean specifically Lagos in the 80s. It talks about 2 friends who are navigating life in the 80s. You know, 2 girls who work in the corporate world, what they go through, their challenges. And it's interesting that in that time as well, we had issues with drug trafficking. And one of these girls, the protagonist, is faced with that decision to traffic drugs or not. Hence the title, Swallow. And I play her friend, who, when you watch the film, you know, you get to see if I decided to traffic drugs or not.
Ooh, a teaser.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So what was Nigeria like in the 80s?
It was much, for me, it was prettier. Like, you could walk on the streets were well tarred, there were regulations, there was war against indiscipline at the time, and corruption. I did like what I saw of the setting in the 80s, but then when it comes to women in the 80s, the fact that they didn't have a voice, they couldn't stand up for themselves. You know, it's not what we have now, where there's a Me Too movement that's emboldened a lot of women. But back then, there wasn't a Me Too movement. It was only you, your voice against the whole world. And, you know, when you're a woman, when you're a woman of certain means, certain grade in the social strata, there's only so much you can say. So the most you can do is bear whatever comes to you. And we see this, interestingly, in the 2 characters, the character that I play in Swallow, how they navigate life, you know, in the 80s.
And did you, because you were born in Nigeria?
Yes, I was. And I was born in the 80s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so did you take any inspiration from your own life and to put it into the film?
Yes, I did. I'm pro women having a voice. I'm pro that. I have a daughter, and it's so important to me in how I'm raising her to ensure that she knows she can speak up wherever, whenever. You know, and anti-shaming. So the character that I play, Rose, she was very vocal. For such times, it was unheard of, and it was quite surprising. And a lot of people will be taken aback, like, oh, just calm down, be quiet, don't speak. But Rose was undeterred. She would say her mind. She would stand up for herself. She would fight for her rights. She would demand a better governance, a better culture, better life for women. Rose was my hero in the film, and ironically, we share the same beliefs in life that you can't shut me up.
Yeah. So
I'm
you
going to stand up for myself.
Very strongly with your
strongly
character.
With her beliefs, her entire being, aside from her decisions, her personal decisions. Yeah. But I did love playing her.
Yeah, and is that something you think is really important as an actress, or maybe as an artist in general, to speak up your mind about society issues like these things?
It's more than important, even more so as an artist, to be able to speak up about issues happening around you. That's fundamentally your job as an artist. So as an actor portraying a character, it's important that I am, portraying this character that is very vocal, very opinionated about diverse issues that are affecting her, society, and she feels, oh, it shouldn't be like this. Oh, I'm going to speak up about it. I don't like this. And that's okay. It's okay in today's world to have women be able to say, no, I don't want that. No, I'm uncomfortable. No, no, no. And say it with sureness, and have society back her up and say, I mean, if she says no, it's okay. It's her right. It's her body. It's her mind. It's her everything. She deserves that right like every other gender.
Definitely, yeah. It's so inspirational to hear you talk about this. So, would you call yourself an activist too, maybe?
I call myself a rebel without a cause. And the reason I say that is I was lucky to be raised by a mother who allowed us speak our mind. No matter whose ox was God, be it herself, her husband, it didn't matter. Always say what you felt, how you felt it, So growing up, I never had issues with speaking up. Now, being an actor places me in a position where I get to embody characters who can't speak up. So it's become a cause for me. That even in issues where matters that do not concern me, but concerns a lot of people who can speak, I feel that my position as a celebrity, if you'd call it, I don't like to use that word, but as a face, to say, no, these people are maligned, these people are marginalized, no, it's not happening, it's wrong. Just be a voice to people who ordinarily can't speak up. And in so doing, in living your life that way, these people are getting or tapping courage from you and saying, if she can do it, I can do it too.
So would you call yourself a role model in that sense? Or would you like to be a role model? Maybe that's
that word. I run from that word a lot.
Yeah, why?
Yeah, because I don't want to be a role model for anybody. I don't want to be a role model. Because I'm also human. I'm prone to mistakes. I'm prone to, I'm fallible. So if you're modeling your life after me in every sphere, because that's how I perceive being a role model, modeling, your life after someone's in every sphere, there might be decisions that I will take that are not so good. Might be good for me, but not good for you, So I try to say, be you. As much as you look at me and say, oh, she's able to speak her mind, be you authentically in your space, in your own desires, your own intentions, because we all have different motives for everything we do, So no, I don't want to be a mentor or role model. I just want to be able to live my life authentically, and if that inspires anyone, that's okay.
Yeah, so maybe to call you an inspiration would be a better phrasing than to call you a role model.
No. I think why I run from it is I have the tendency to play God. So I run from situations like that where, you put me in a position to play God. So when you make me a role model, an inspiration, I'm human. Man has this tendency to have ego, to supersede over people, to just lord over people. And as an artist, I don't want to do that. I still want to be human. I still want to be human. I still want to be humane. I still want to be able to tap into my environment to be able to play the characters that I play, and not play or feel like I'm more than I am. Actually, I'm just a vessel as an actor.
Yeah, so you would never place yourself above.
Above, yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, you get it.
So back to your film, then Swallow. Could you call that a Nollywood film?
It is a Nollywood film.
Yeah. So what would you say is the biggest difference between Nollywood and Hollywood?
Basically, the quantity of movies we put out. We shoot thousands of movies in a year. I always jokingly say, it's a well-known fact that every day in the streets of Lagos, 1 million films are, being filmed at the same time. Another thing that might be a difference is, quantity, basically quantity. But aside that, the stories are the same. It's still human interest stories. I mean, we haven't started doing the sci-fi and on a big scale, like, because funding, So quantity and probably the funds that go into the films we make is another difference.
And would you say that the quantity is so high because you love your work so much, or it is kind of, okay, see, here are we and we can do this?
More like, I think when DSL came out, it emboldened a lot of people to just feel that they can make films. They didn't have to get a film. They didn't have to get the big cameras. With the little cameras, anybody can be a filmmaker. So I think that's what also aided the mass explosion of Nollywood, that anyone literally can pick up a camera and tell a story they want to tell. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. It's important to tell
Very
stories
important.
that are close to your heart.
Close to your heart.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
totally. So
totally.
if you win this award for Best African Actress, what would it mean to you?
Probably more exposure. Probably more exposure. Yeah.
And would it mean the next step in your career?
The way I view what I do as an actor, it's not in steps and leaps and bounds, but more in terms of doing work that matter to me, work that make a difference, works that make a difference. That's how I view it, as opposed to an award. Yes, invariably, because of what you do, you're much more recognized. You have access to first port of call when it comes to casting, But then ultimately for me, I just want to be able to keep on working as an actor, keep on telling stories as an actor.
Yeah, might give you maybe a bigger stage to
hopefully, yes, hopefully it translates to that. If it does, that's a good thing as well.
Yeah, so you can show everyone what you do.
Yeah,